Lava lamps used to be completely unsellable. Imagine going door to door attempting to sell the most unique, mesmerizing lamp ever invented. But knock after knock, you receive a big fat thanks, but no thanks. Not only are potential customers rejecting the greatest lamp ever created, but they're also pointing out its flaws, with some even deeming it absolutely dreadful. At this point, many people would have quit or thrown hands. But not Edward Craven Walker. He's the real life guy who had to endure all the embarrassing rejection. Despite the constant setbacks, he went on to create a product that is not only instantly recognizable, but also encapsulates an entire decade. How many products can boast the same? The Astro Lamp, mostly known as the Lava Lamp, perfectly captures the essence of the 1960s. It is so deeply ingrained in that trippy, groovy counterculture hippie era. One of Edward's slogans was even, "If you buy my lamps, you won't need to buy drugs." While the hippies of the 1960s certainly loved the Astro Lamp, they weren't the intended target audience. Edward Craven Walker had his eyes set on a complete opposite of dirty, peace-loving hippies. Maybe that's why he kept facing rejection. Knocking on doors, pushing this novel lamp in person, because how else would you sell this thing? While there were printed ads at one point, they lacked the emotion, the vibrant colors, and there was a complete absence of the dim, moody, mesmerizing glow you get from the lamp. Going door to door in person seemed like the right way to go, and yet, folks kept rejecting his lamp. Where did Edward Craven Walker go wrong? In the beginning, there was nothing, and all of a sudden, everything. No, seriously, a British man walks into a pub, spots a homemade egg timer, and steps forward his way into profit. That British man is our Edward Craven Walker. I'll just call him Walker from now on. Dates are a little hazy, but at some point in the 1940s, another British guy by the name of
Donald Dunnet
created a homemade liquid-filled egg timer for his daughter, all in the name of ensuring her eggs were properly boiled. I mean, come on, hard boiling an egg is so damn easy. How many eggs did she mess up before Dunnet decided enough was enough and he had to make a cool looking egg timer just so she stopped fucking up? Anyway, he used a glass cocktail shaker to house a mixture of liquid and wax, and the pub stovetop was used to quickly heat up the mixture. Once that wax started bubbling and floating around, ding, eggs are done. Mr. Dunnet's story basically ends there, as it was Mr. Walker who saw the egg timer and decided to build upon the idea. He became obsessed with the strange, alien-looking, bubbling invention and began to see its potential. With a few tweaks, Walker tinkered with the creation, switching out the cocktail shaker with a bottle of Treetops orange squash juice, as well as installing a light bulb at the base as the heat source for the lava lamp. Mr. Walker paired two insoluble liquids, one water-based, the other wax-based. Don't ask for the exact recipe, it's a proprietary secret. One known key ingredient is carbon tetrachloride. Keep that in mind as I'll bring it up a little later. He added colors to his lamp, as the original egg timer was just clear liquid and some off-white colored wax. Walker worked on the lamp until he had it perfected, and in September of 1963, he set up his company by the totally British-sounding name of CrestWorth. Walker started CrestWorth for research and development purposes, and of course to sell his lamp. But that's when we get to the intro of this video. No one was thrilled with the product. Getting investors on board was an even tougher challenge. Christine Baer, Walker's wife during that time, summed it up by saying, "It was so completely new we had to convince people to go with it, particularly when it came to selling. Some people thought it was absolutely dreadful." Honestly, how could you pitch the lava lamp without being there in person? There wasn't anything like it at the time. Can you imagine how crazy you'd sound over the phone trying to describe a lava lamp to potential investors? You'd sound like a crackhead. Walker and Christine literally had to hit the road in a van filled with lava lamps to pitch and sell the Astro Lamp, but they were mostly facing rejection. Their product was pitched as an exotic new lamp which didn't sit well with most people because the lamp didn't cast much light at all. Selling a lamp that barely illuminates a room?
Not a great plan.
Another downside was the setup time. Dunnett's original cocktail egg timer, which sparked the idea of the lava lamp, had its heat source from a stove. However, with Walker's lava lamp, he had to use a light bulb. Obviously, this offers less heat than a stove, so it could take up to an hour or more for the wax to reach the right temperature. This setup time is still the case for modern lava lamps, as most instructions advise buyers to wait 40 minutes to an hour for the lamp to reach the proper temperature. This didn't go well for many potential buyers during the 60s. One can only imagine what Walker had to do to kill time during that 1 hour setup time. Picture him making small talk, hyping up his lamp, only for the customers to end up completely underwhelmed with the results. Like, that's it? "This is your magical exotic lamp I waited an hour for?" Yeah, that shit's ass. I'm gonna need you to leave. Luckily, Edward Craven Walker is no quitter. As Christine put it, Edward was very focused, driven, and full of ideas. When he had an idea, he would see it through to the end. Mr. Walker also happened to be a bit of an odd guy. I mean, come on, the guy invented the lava lamp, and luckily for us, he wasn't some boring businessman. No, during the creation of the lava lamp, Edward was already in his 40s, so he had already lived half his life. Born on July 4th, 1918, in Singapore to expatriate British parents, Walker grew up to become a pilot for the Royal Air Force during World War II. While he didn't see much combat, his duty was to pilot one of the fastest aircraft of the time, the de Havilland Mosquito. His main objective was to fly over Germany to take photographs during photo reconnaissance missions. Even the plane he piloted was unusual as it was constructed mostly out of wood. After the war, he moved to London and began his own home exchange traveling business. It was somewhat like an Airbnb, but instead of poor millennials renting out a property for a short-term period, it was more like, hey, I'm a rich dude with an extra house in Barcelona, want to visit Spain for a couple of weeks, and in the meantime, I'll stay in your beautiful property in Paris. How's that sound? Yeah, house swapping for the rich, basically. Not long afterward, in the 1940s, Walker was introduced to nudism, also known as naturalism, during a trip to the Isle du Levant off the southern coast of France. There was just something about being naked around other nude people that made Walker realize, this is brilliant, isn't it? He devoted his life to nudism. Not only did he end up producing nudist films, but he also established the UK's most popular nudist colony, the District Naturist Centre, where more people could come together unclothed and say, this is brilliant. Somehow, he did end up with a boring-ass job as an accountant. I guess nude films and setting up nudist camps wasn't enough to pay the bills. After a long day of crunching numbers, Mr. Walker would frequent a nearby pub, and it was there in the year of 1948 that Mr. Walker witnessed Mr. Dunnet's original egg timer. If you are paying attention and crunching the numbers yourself, then yes, I can confirm 1948 is pretty far away from 1963. The year that Walker started selling his Astro lamp. I'd like to emphasize how Mr. Walker took the time to ensure his product was perfect by figuring out the right amount of fluid and wax mixture, as well as trying out several different types of bottles until he landed on that bottle of that orange British drink. I'd also like to throw in that Walker didn't start working on creating the lava lamp until years after seeing Dunnet's egg timer. Although it did stay on his mind all that time, Walker had his nudist projects to work on. Also, CrestWorth isn't hiding the fact that the lava lamp was made possible due to Dunnet's egg timer, and although Walker did meet some pushback for the Astro lamp,
she went out, and when she came back, she said, "What's that horrible thing doing here? Take it away, I don't like it."
There were customers that loved the lamp.
That was the first really reaction I had on it. So I wasn't put off. I went eventually to another well-known shop, and they took 3 dozen straight off.
Walker took out patents on the lamp and was quickly on his way to work out royalty deals all over the world. So yeah, needless to say, the Astro lamp was a big hit. Who cares if it didn't illuminate the room it was in? It was the 1960s, baby. Hippies, young folks, fans of psychedelic music and drugs went crazy for the Astro lamp. Walker was amused to find out that so many fans of all things psychedelic were big fans of his lamp. He was even known to say,
"And I don't think you need to take drugs if you have one lamp, because it's got everything there for you."
Which, come on, Walker, your product was honestly a nice accessory to go along with drugs. There's no doubt about that. Walker was able to secure a deal with 2 Chicago-based businessmen during a trade show in Germany. The Chicago men loved the lamp so much that they were the ones responsible for bringing the lamp to the American audience. Operating under the name of Lava Manufacturing Corp., Americans now had easy access to the Astro lamp, all thanks to the Chicago businessmen. But in America, the Astro lamp had to be named something else. And no, they weren't named lava lamps, but Lava Lite Lamps. I guess the public just ended up calling them lava lamps because honestly, it just sounds better. Lava Lite Lamps. Lava Lite Lamps. It just doesn't sound right. Popularity for the lamps skyrocketed, and they even appeared in a few shows like The Prisoner, Doctor Who, and The Avengers. No, not those Avengers, but the British TV show, The Avengers. It wasn't until a certain famous musician purchased a lamp that Walker and his wife felt that they've really hit it big. As Christine put it, when did we realize things were going well? The Day store in Birkenhead phoned to say that Ringo Starr had just been in and bought a lava lamp. Suddenly we thought, wow, We have hit it. So yeah, Ringo was the first Beatle to purchase a lava lamp. So I guess that settles the debate over which Beatle is a superior Beatle, huh? Oh wait, is he still posting feet pics on social media? Never mind. Funny enough, Walker didn't envision the lamps as paragons of grooviness. They weren't marketed like that. The marketing looked like they were trying to attract madmen Don Draper types instead of the peace-loving hippies. The Astro lamp was originally designed to be a luxury desk lamp for homes and offices, but it probably made its way as the grand centerpiece for makeshift coffee tables at communes more than anything. What I like about this particular ad is how it mentions the lamp is styled to fit any mood, which Stephen Horner, a guy who teaches lighting design at Pratt Institute in Brooklyn, New York, says the purpose of the lava lamp is to, quote, create mood. The fixture's dynamic interior harkens back to one of our most ancient forms of amusement, the flickering hearth, yet the sleek, rocket-like exterior was perfectly pitched to the space age. Right out the gate, lava lamps were rocket-shaped, and while the very first ones used Treetop's orange squash bottles, CrestWorth got to a point where the company could manufacture their own glass bottles to hold the wax and fluid. And as a side note, I like to say that Treetop was more than happy to provide their bottles for lava lamps, as the company loved the product. Different color variations of the original Astro lamp were available, and a smaller Astro Baby was released in 1964. Sales continued to skyrocket for the lamp, and it was in the 1970s that a change had to be made. Carbon tetrachloride. Earlier in the video, I asked you to keep that ingredient in mind, and here's why. Turns out, it's toxic and has been banned ever since. I guess this is where the whole, oh, don't open up a lava lamp because the lava is poisonous, ooh, rumor comes from. Which, I don't know about you, but I've always heard that even as a teen when I bought my first lava lamp. So, although this was true for the first original lava lamps, today, that is definitely not the case. Well, I hope so, since the new ingredients are still kept as a secret, and now there are cheap lava lamps being made in China, and who knows what those models use as their ingredients. The word of the lava lamp toxicity did not slow down sales for the lava lamp. Heck, even David Bowie was photographed with an Astro Baby in his recording studio. And you can't get much better promotion than that, people. As the 70s continued, lava lamps were featured in more TV shows like The Good Life, The Sweeney, Abigail's Party, and more. When it came to the lamp's popularity, Mr. Walker remarked, I think it will always be popular. It's like the cycle of life. It grows, breaks up, falls down, and then starts all over again. Which is exactly what happened to Astro lamp sales during the 1980s. The popularity of the product began to decline. Sales hit an all-time low starting in the mid-1980s. There's no exact reason why the lamps declined, but hey, we can always speculate. TVs had become a norm for every household by that time, with some families having more than just one within a household. Also, by the mid-80s, Nintendo released their first console, the Nintendo Entertainment System. I'd say video games, TVs, and heck, maybe even better television programs took the attention away from the lava lamp. And let's face it, trends like lava lamps tend to die out. Although popularity and sales for the lamps were at an all-time low, a lava lamp enthusiast saw a great opportunity. Meet Cressida Granger. Miss Granger spent her days selling and hunting down vintage items to sell at her vintage furniture booth in London's Camden Market. In the mid-80s, she stumbled upon a few vintage CrestWorth lava lamps, which she put up for sale at her booth. Granger was pleased to see how quickly they sold, and she began to add more lamps to her booth. As those quickly sold out, she soon realized the market still had potential. Get this, she contacts CrestWorth, has a chat, and as if it was some sort of sign, she finds out the company is based in her own birthplace of Poole in Dorset. It wasn't until 1989 that Cressida Granger met up with Mr. Walker. What was Walker up to at this point? Well, Mr. Walker was in his 70s, was a full-blown nudist, and lived at the nudist camp that he owned. This is where Granger and Walker met. Were they both nude during this meeting? Nah, Granger requested a fully clothed meeting. I guess she just didn't want to see the man's giant balls of steel. But what was the purpose for Miss Granger to meet the nudist father of lava lamps? Well, she wanted to bring lava lamps back into the lives of people by partnering with Walker and eventually outright buying CrestWorth from the big daddy of lava lamps himself. And get this, Mr. Walker agreed to the idea. Again, let me remind you how wild of a guy Edward Craven Walker was. Yes, a 70-year-old nudist who owned his own nudist camp, the creator of the lava lamp, World War II veteran. His modes of transportation included a helicopter and a fire engine because why not? When he did decide to drive a car, it always had to be a British-made Jaguar. And let's not forget the nudist films he was well known for. So yeah, he had a lot going on. So why not sell the CrestWorth company to someone who clearly loves the product? Interest in lava lamps was at an all-time low at that point, that the company was only manufacturing, wait, let me give you a minute to guess. Just take a wild guess as to roughly how many lava lamps CrestWorth was manufacturing per week. Per year, CrestWorth was only producing about 1,000 lava lamps during their low point. That's not even breaking 20 lamps per week. So yeah, the deal went through and Walker stayed on the team as a consultant and company director. So now with Cressida Granger calling the shots, CrestWorth was on the move to make lava lamps great again. I really wrote that shit in there. With her vintage booth as a proof of concept, Miss Granger knew that some trends are destined to bounce back. Luckily, lava lamps and all things groovy has started to make a comeback in the 1990s. A new generation of lava lamp lovers and enthusiasts of all things groovy emerged in the form of British university students. The coming-of-age film Dazed and Confused, set during the mid-70s, released in 1993, a new wave of the British invasion made its way to the States by the mid-90s. The first Austin Powers film hit theaters in 97, and in 1998, that 70s show premiered on Fox. The 90s were bringing back the 60s and 70s, and lava lamps were on the top of the list. New orders began pouring in by 1992, and Ms. Granger decided to rebrand CrestWorth, now known as the much better name of Mathmos. The popularity of Mathmos' Astro lamps skyrocketed, with millions being sold. They even released a brand new design in the form of the Telstar Rocket Lava Lamp. Look how fucking cool this design is. Mathmos 100% deserves all the sales they were getting just on this cool design alone. Although I've never seen one in person, I just know one day I'll own one of my own. Granger also pushed the company to begin selling Astro lamps through their very own website as a new way to fulfill orders. Granger claims that the company has sold more lava lamps during its 90s revival period compared to the original run of the 1960s. The 1990s definitely brought back the Astro lamps, but with all eyes on the lamp, the 90s also introduced a new problem for Mathmos. A problem that the company continues to battle against, even today. I'm going to keep the section short. Basically, the patent that Walker had taken out to protect his product had expired. It ran its course and was protected for the standard period of 20 years. Since it ran out during the low point of lava lamp interest, there weren't any copycat lamps until well after the revival of the lava lamp popularity. Other companies didn't realize the patents had ran out, so Mathmos was able to capitalize on the popularity even if it was for a short while. And now Mathmos has lots of competition to deal with. To stand out against the cheap knockoffs that were being produced in China, Granger pushed Mathmos into a new era. Fluidium lava lamps, glitter-filled, color-changing lava lamp wax, and lamps with rechargeable LED lights were a few of the new products that were launched. By the year 2000, Mr. Walker was 82 years old and was still on the Mathmos team. Of course, the resurgence of his invention brought him joy, and he joked that people who didn't like lava lamps, quote, didn't like sex, unquote. On August 15th, 2000, Edward Craven Walker passed away. His last couple of years he suffered from cancer and was buried in a small cemetery in New Forest, UK. Rest in peace. Today, Mathmos continues to operate under the ownership of Miss Granger. The company still makes lava lamps in the UK instead of going for the cheaper route of producing the whole product in China. Granger has expressed how important it is to keep production in the same country that the product originated in. Sadly, under the original deal that Walker struck with the American company Lava Manufacturing Corp., Mathmos isn't allowed to sell or deliver the lamps to the United States or Canada. So if you're living in the UK, well, I just want to say I'm extremely jealous of you. You are able to order directly from Mathmos and can purchase my dream lava lamp. The extent of my jealousy ends there. I checked out the website of the original American Lava Light Lamps to see if they had a version of the Telstar rocket lamp on their website, and I was hit with this message. Yeah, I guess they just straight up don't sell lava lamps during the winter. Also, the difference between both websites is pretty stark. Mathmos' site looks much better, from the design down to the product photos and even the extra little history info they have about the company. I just love how they take pride in their work, and they have such a nice website to back up the fact that they are indeed the original lava lamp company. For now, I, like the rest of the non-UK common folk, will just have to be slightly satisfied with the cheap knockoffs anyone can buy from Amazon, Walmart, and Target. And when the day comes that I finally get my hands on a legit Mathmos Telstar rocket lava lamp, I'll be able to show it off and proudly say, this is a legitimate lava lamp, proudly crafted in Britain from the original company that sold them in the 1960s. And my friends and family will say, that's neat, and won't think much of it afterwards. But to me, it'll mean the world.